What are you talking about? Jacob hurried over and hit Sam on the head with his book. You didn't come back last night. We all thought that you were being kept by a rich lady. Sam covered his head this time and laughed. Isn't that your dream? Jacob slapped Sam's head again. Did you stay the night at that girl's house? The one that you're tutoring? Sam asked curiously, and their other roommates leaned in close to listen. Yeah, I couldn't come back because of the storm, so her mother asked me to stay over. Jacob answered honestly. They asked you to stay the night? Is it possible they want you to be their son-in-law? One of their roommates chimed in. Stop with your stupid theories. I stayed there for the night because of the storm. That's it. Jacob slammed his book on the desk before sitting down. Then you and Kathy, Sam leaned towards him and lowered his voice, have nothing going on? You are such a gossip monger. Jacob glared at him. No, you have to tell us. This information is worth $200. If you get a girlfriend, Sam will lose $200 to us, his friend snickered. You idiot! You bet on me? Jacob hit Sam's head with his hand this time. Before they could say anything else, the teacher came inside and started the class. The day was pretty uneventful otherwise for the boys, as they had classes throughout the day. Jacob also spent every spare minute preparing for Sophie's next lesson. He had to work harder on that now that he was teaching her other subjects as well. Jacob didn't notice when the last class ended and the students filed out of the classroom. He only noticed when the classroom became unusually quiet and the murmurs of the students leaving the class had also died down. He saw that everyone was out in the corridor, talking, laughing, and gossiping. He gathered his stuff and walked to the door slowly, where he saw Susan, who rarely showed herself on campus. She looked like she was waiting for someone. As soon as she saw Jacob, she approached him and asked, Jacob, could I talk to you for a minute? There was suddenly an eerie silence in the corridor as the students stopped to look at Jacob and Susan. Kathy was staring at them, looking astonished and confused. Jacob! Susan said his name out loud as she saw that he was looking a bit lost. Yes, let's go. Jacob squared his shoulders and escorted Susan to the stairs. His classmates were left gaping at them. Different theories and gossip immediately started flying around in an attempt to guess the reason for this interaction. Jacob and Susan went down the stairs and out of the building. On their way, every student shot strange glances at them, since they had never seen Susan walk with a student before. Jacob wondered why Susan had reached out to him in front of everyone. He instinctively turned around and saw Sam and the others following them sneakily. Jacob didn't know what to do with them. He knew Susan was aware that the guys were following them. Being an inspector, she was much more advanced than him, after all. Since she had approached Jacob in front of his classmates, she probably didn't intend to keep their meeting a secret. I have made a thorough investigation into this issue, Susan said abruptly when they were more than a dozen meters away from the academic building. You mean the issue of my identity? Jacob asked. Since they were far away from the others, Jacob wasn't worried about being overheard. Yes, Susan nodded. I asked Liam, and I've also talked to Sophie. I have a clear understanding of the whole situation. So then, do you acknowledge my identity now? Jacob asked. Yes, but barely so. Since the clan is determined, I have made an exception for you. You are not from our Orthodox background, but due to the special circumstances and the insistence of Sophie's parents, who are my benefactors, I will temporarily give you a chance. Susan kept pacing in front of him slowly. Temporarily? Asked Jacob. Yes, only temporarily. The result of my negotiation with them is that if you don't succeed in the cultivation of the techniques of the dragon tribe, I, as an inspector, will have to deprive you of the qualification to become a member of the dragon tribe. And the time limit, Susan paused for a second before she said, is 1 month. I need to break through the spirit concentration scroll in 1 month? Jacob asked. In your dreams, Susan snapped. The concentration scroll is just a basic technique, and you are not counted as a cultivator even if you master it. I meant that you need to reach at least the lowest level in the cultivation system of the dragons, Susan said coldly. Jacob became a little nervous. It had taken him almost 2 weeks to break through the first level of the spirit concentration scroll, and he was probably one of the least talented dragons out there. It would be extremely difficult for him to reach the first level of cultivation within a month. I've told you everything you need to know. If you can't meet my requirements, I'll have to do my duty despite my feelings for Sophie's family. During this entire month, I will closely monitor your cultivation progress, Susan continued. Jacob cursed his ill fate. He was not only being monitored by the school's vice president and Dracon, but also by Susan, a dangerous inspector of the Dragon Clan in the disguise of a beautiful university teacher who was the center of attention for half the university's population. Being under the supervision of 3 extremely powerful people who could crush him into powder in an instant was worse than being roasted in an elixir furnace. I have to warn you, I'm not the only inspector in the dragon tribe. I am being lenient with you, but when other inspectors notice you, you won't be so lucky, Susan continued. Jacob was baffled. What do you mean? If you're lucky, they will only interrogate you. But if you're not, they might kill you, Susan said, laying emphasis on each and every word. When Jacob froze in astonishment, Susan looked at him and said, Don't panic. She took out a silver necklace from her pocket. This necklace holds a special array formation designed by me that can conceal the faint dragon present in your body and keep other inspectors from noticing you. Couldn't she lead with that? Jacob thought while sighing a breath of relief. Instead of putting the necklace in Jacob's hand, she put it directly around his neck. Jacob had not expected that Susan would put the necklace on him herself. Sam and the others who had been following them from a distance were all stunned. What's happening? How intimate are Miss Susan and Jacob? She's putting a necklace on him, and the necklace seems to be her gift to Jacob. Sam whispered the exact thought on everyone's mind. And, of course, Sam and his buddies were not the only witnesses. The other students loitering around campus had also seen it. After all, Susan rarely showed herself on campus, and everyone would notice the super popular teacher wherever she went. Everyone was shocked. With the array formation I've designed, only I can put it on you or take it off you, Susan explained as she saw the shocked look on Jacob's face. Jacob checked it by trying to take it off and failed. The necklace looked solid. Jacob didn't know what it was made of, but he knew no one could break it easily. At least the necklace suits me. Otherwise, it would look like a dog collar, Jacob thought to himself. If Sam had heard him thinking about such an ungrateful thought, he would have told Jacob, because he would happily let Susan put even a dog collar on him. Of course, this necklace has other functions as well. One of them is that I can track your whereabouts anytime I want, Susan continued. What? You tricked me? Jacob yelled at her, even as he spoke in whispers, keeping the lingering ears around them in mind. Susan is such a liar. She pretended to be concerned about my safety, but her real intention was to monitor and control me, he cursed in his mind. Seeing the regretful expression on Jacob's face, Susan smiled. There's no use crying over spilled milk. As I told you, you can't remove it until you find someone more powerful than me, she said. Looking at her pretty, gloating face, Jacob silently cursed her. He racked his brain for a person more powerful than Susan and found one. Sophie's third uncle, Kenneth. Kenneth, however, disliked Jacob and was unlikely to waste his strength on assisting him. As for the others he knew, neither Liam nor Helen had greater strength than Susan. I can't believe you tricked me like that. Why do you want to control me? Jacob said in an accusing tone, but was met with silence as Susan continued smiling at him as if she had done nothing wrong.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.